This is the first section in Chapter 4 of the Marine Bio textbook. Water is a universal solvent. That means other molecules dissolve in it. Basically, it is the soup that everything else is mixed up in. Because of this, water is very important to all organisms. Carbohydrates are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. For this reason, they are referred to as CHOs. Sugars and starches are forms of carbohydrates that you're familiar with. Carbohydrates give the organism energy. You know how a candy bar will give you that sugar high? That's because the body quickly breaks down the CHOs for energy. Starches are a more complex form of carbohydrates. These are things such as potatoes and pastas. These break down more slowly and give you more sustained energy. Proteins, on the other hand, are made of nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. Proteins are needed for building cells. Proteins are a major component of muscles and are needed to repair injuries. So, if you get hurt, you want to bump up your protein intake. Lipids are also called fats. These include your oils, margarines, butters, and animal fats. Lipids are a source of stored energy. Another useful property of lipids is the ability to repel water. Many marine mammals and birds have a coating of oil on their fur or feathers. This keeps the water from reaching their skin and weighing them down. Lipids are also important for marine organisms that are out of the water at low tide. These organisms have a coating of wax to keep them from drying out. Note the picture of the sea anemone. This is a sea anemone that is in the water, and notice how it is completely open. But at low tide, the sea anemones close up. They close up to help retain the water, and this waxy coating on the outside keeps them from drying out in the sun until the water comes back. Lipids also provide buoyancy because they float and they insulate from the cold. Think of blubber. Think on the blubber on whales and on something like this sea lion right here. The sea lion has a nice coating of blubber that keeps it warm. Nucleic acids store and transmit the basic genetic information of life. They're made of chains of nucleotides. Here's a DNA chain that you might recognize. You're probably familiar with this and also RNA. The DNA from a parent organism is inherited by its offspring. Some RNA is responsible for converting the information stored in the DNA into proteins. Mapping the genome of organisms has helped scientists identify the relationship between and among different species. These are the citations for the different images that I used. The information was obtained from the textbook. Now for your quiz. Number 1. What are carbohydrates composed of? Number 2. Number 2. What is it that protects animals that are in the water a lot from getting cold? Number 3. What are the building blocks of life? And number 4. If you got hurt, what of these would you want to make sure you have more of? Number 5. What is something that you cannot live without for very long? That's it. Hope you got the answers.